So the 20, keep saying 26th, 26th of May still, and this was on my mind. Manipulation was just happened. Well, manipulation just happened. So, but I wanted to talk about this because this is always on my mind. I've been planning on making a video about this for a little bit now, like an actual animated video. And the result of it is to hopefully help people. And that comes down to, if I can actually explain this correctly, and if this gets known, and if I get known, fame and to become known is what I just wrote down as what I didn't want to say this, but is what I want to take away from this is fame and to become known. To a certain extent that is true, but what I really want to do is to help people, because at the end of the day I've always been told I have a kind heart. And then I suppose that's true. In this world you can make it what you want to be. You can be what you want to be. But I'll talk about that another time. For now I want to talk about anxiety and depression. It's a huge thing, luckily, that I've never needed to come across. I've had a good family, people that have cared about me. But I know a few people that it has affected. It was years ago, and at that time I never thought about psychology, but I've always been interested in it, understanding it, but I've never thought about what I'm about to tell you. And that is perspective. Perspective's a crazy thing. It's what makes you in this world you. Whenever I've been bored at work, at the current moment I still work at that Indian place. I won't say anything about that, other than they have a pretty decent butter chicken. Typical. But no, I've been thinking about animating this. When I've been bored in work, I've been wanting to animate this, so it makes it easier for people to understand what I mean. Don't know why I just did that. I have a weird thing where, in my mind, if I feel like my camera just went over a line, my fingers went over the line of the camera, then that needs to happen for the other one as well, just so I can be satisfied. That might be OCD. It's a weird thing I've had for a while. Same as if I flick something and I feel something on my finger, I need to flick it with the other finger. Weird thing about me, but whatever. It comes down to perspective. I watched a YouTube video, I forgot the name of the channel. It's a German word meaning in short, in a nutshell. It starts with a K. Kirk gets stiff. Butchered that. Whatever. This is so dumb. Whatever. I say that word a lot because my mind just blanks out. It's on a route that just stops, and then you just go to a whatever. That's what I do. But whatever. But anyway, what was going in my mind was perspective, depression, anxiety, and putting those three things together came out really well in the video that I watched. If I ever make an animated video, or I ever release this to the world, it's 100% going to be edited, because Jesus, I'm boring. And I have to talk faster, think faster as well, just so I don't have like a minute's worth of pausing. But there was a guy, it comes down to, I'll talk about it another time if I ever do, or I could just watch the video or link it. But there was a guy, this was year 12 camp, then this used to be me as well, who was sitting in the corner of a room when we were all partying. Well, not partying, we were all celebrating. First term of year 12 done. There was multiple people sitting in the corner as well. And it was that day that I watched that video about perspective. And what I thought about was, I'll write this down as a quote as well, but this is almost my philosophy. Nobody stops you or can stop you. Stops you like you stop yourself. There's so much to talk about that, and I might do it in the future. But nobody stops you like you stop yourself. And everything in this world comes down to perspective. So if you think, honestly, this is links back to anxiety as well. You see a group of people over in the corner or in the center of the room, and you're in the corner. You've known those people, they seem to like you, but in your mind, you don't want to talk to them, or they don't want to talk to you, and that's perspective. That it's what you think. Realistically, nothing has changed since you've last talked to them, and last time you talked to them might have been good. Nothing has changed. Only your mind and perspective on them has changed. And I went over and told this guy that. I said, between where you are and where everyone else is, the only thing that's going to change is you. If you're over here in the corner and you think that people don't want to talk to you, you're acting that way as well. You've like got your arms folded, looking down. You look a bit cold. And then when people look at you and you see them looking at you, and then they turn away, you feel colder, because then it's almost reinforced that people don't want to talk to you. So then you go down a few more levels of being antisocial, having anxiety, or being depressed. It goes down a few more levels. And then if that thing keeps happening, it might happen. It's going to take ages for it to finally get down to being really bad. But every time you think people don't want to talk to you, you act that way. And when people look at you and then look away, it reinforces in your mind. It would reinforce it more if you take it that way. I say take it that way, I mean if you take it that people don't want to talk to you, you go down a few more levels, then a few more levels, then a few more levels, and then at the very bottom there's chronic anxiety, depression, whatever. I don't know what that's called. That's pretty bad. I don't know what that's called. Edit. But you go down to at the very bottom until you actually start to become disconnected from society. That what you see when I smile, when I look sad, when I look angry, you can see in my, like, almost lines of how my eyes go down, my mouth goes up, my mouth goes down, and you can get something from it. It's almost human nature to get something from it, that I'll either look happy, sad, angry, frustrated, annoyed. You start to lose that. I'm just quoting the video, that in a nutshell video. You start to lose that. But on the contrary, if you start to think that people do want to talk to you, you start to rise levels. You go from here, then up to here, then up to here, and you'll start to notice that nothing has changed, only you. I took that knowledge to Switch, it's my youth group, and I thought that people wanted to talk to me, and I was told I seemed friendlier, that I seemed more inclusive, that I seemed funner to be around, and that lifted me higher. And there's different ways to be lifted higher. You can either go the way that, yeah, you're the best. You can either go up, in my personal opinion, you can go up the correct way of just feeling more social. Or, in rare cases, people become less social because when they're put under pressure, I guess, when they're put under pressure, instead of going up, they actually go down. And there's two ways. You can either look like you're going down in the fact that you've gone back in the corner with your arms folded, or you put on a fake smile. You're good at putting on a fake smile, and you keep going up, and then it just keeps going the other way until you hit rock bottom, and then you just drop flat completely. Oh, here comes my brother. I'm going to need to pause this video just for now.